I'm David Fleming from Disciples United, where we are focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom, and preparing his disciples. Now, we've been talking about David as a prophet and how he had such a powerful prophetic ministry. But yesterday, we talked about how David had such a close relationship with three prophets, seasoned prophets, powerful prophets. They were Samuel, Gad, and Nathan. Today, we want to talk about David's relationship with Samuel. Samuel was the prophet that God used to anoint David as the next king of Israel. Now, we know that when God used Samuel to anoint David, there was already a king ruling and reigning in Israel at that time, King Saul. But King Saul was not one to obey the Lord. And so God set out on a mission to find a man that had a heart after God. And God found David. And so God sent Samuel to anoint David as the next king of Israel. But this is such a powerful example of how God uses prophets to do these prophetic acts that don't necessarily bring about the manifestation immediately, but they set things into motion. And that's what happened when Samuel anointed David as the next king. It was a prophetic act, but it was also a proclamation of what God's plan was. Oh! It was a proclamation that all of heaven heard, that all of earth heard, oh! And that hell heard, revealing that God's plan was to replace Saul with a man that had a heart after God. But we also see Saul had such a dramatic and powerful impact in David's life until Saul was taken by the Lord. Let me read to you one such account, and that was when King Saul was now out to kill David, and he was ruthlessly pursuing David to kill him. And we read about this account in 1 Samuel chapter 19, verses 18 through 24. When David had fled and made his escape, he went to Samuel at Ramah and told him all that Saul had done to him, which was trying to kill him. Then he and Samuel went to Naioth and stayed there. Word came to Saul, David is in Naioth at Ramah. So he sent men to capture him. But when they saw a group of prophets prophesy with Samuel standing there as their leader, the Spirit of God came on Saul's men, and they also prophesied. Saul was told about it, and he sent more men, and they prophesied too. Saul sent men a third time, and they also prophesied. Finally, he himself left Ramah and went to the great cistern at Siku. And he asked, where are Samuel and David? Oh, over at Naioth in Ramah, they said. So Saul went to Naioth at Ramah, but the Spirit of God came even on him, and he walked along prophesying until he came to Naioth. He stripped off his garments, and he too prophesied in Samuel's presence. He lay naked all that day and all that night. That is why people say, is Saul also among the prophets? Now, y'all, there's so much in this that we just don't have time to comment on. But the thing that I want to impress upon you today is the anointing that flowed through Samuel. The anointing of the Lord was so powerful upon Samuel, and it flowed through Samuel in such an awesome way that it saved David's life. When King Saul got in Samuel's presence, oh! This prophetic anointing came upon Saul. Saul, who was pursuing David to kill him, this prophetic anointing came upon Saul. And Saul just laid before Samuel and was overcome with this prophetic anointing. Saved David's life, it did. Thank God for true prophets that flow in powerful prophetic anointing that enable God's plan to go forth unhindered, undetoured, to accomplish God's plan. We'll talk more about it tomorrow.